Graziers across the Northern Territory heaved a collective sigh of relief this week as the live cattle trade to Indonesia was cleared to resume. But cattle producers say it'll take months for the industry to recover, and in the meantime many pastoralists will continue to struggle financially.
It's going to be a long crawl back. Even just the confidence within the industry, you know. Everybody's bloody ecstatic that the trade's reopened, but it's just a small step towards solving the whole problem.
There's some sense of relief for Don White at Kepler Station near Adelaide River this week with the news that the live cattle trade to Indonesia is set to resume. He runs 10,000 head of cattle and sells all of them to the live export market. He believes there's still a tough road ahead.
There's going to be an oversupply of cattle for at least the next 12 months. And it's simple supply and demand, you know. You're going to have some income, but the income's going to be maybe 50% of what you need to operate sustainably.
These disturbing images aired on the ABC's Four Corners program in May led to a ban on live exports to Indonesia. The federal government has lifted the suspension under strict conditions.
I'm glad we are able to reassure Australians appropriate steps have been taken so we do not see the kind of animal cruelty we saw on the Four Corners program. Blood on your hands, Julia Gillard, blood on your hands!
But for some, concern over animal welfare remains. The government hasn't made it compulsory for cattle to be stunned before they're killed.
What we're saying is that we have serious concerns about the resumption of the trade.
Exporters must now trace their cattle from the property to an overseas abattoir that meets international standards. The industry says putting that system in place will take time.
It'll be more like weeks than days. There's still, as I said, there's still a lot to be done, particularly about getting the supply chains in place and getting the accreditations done and the independent auditing that's needed.
The longer this goes on, the heavier the impact is and the larger the cash crisis becomes. We could still have 100 to 200,000 cattle in the top end or northern part of Australia that we need to find a home for.
Chris Muldoon runs Midway Station in the Douglas Daly region. He believes smaller operators will have a tough time in the months ahead.
It's called a cattle pad, isn't it? Yeah. We need the grassroots producers to remain in the industry. They're the backbone of this industry, and it's very important that they're looked after and they've got the ability to sell their cattle, not just the larger players in the market.
One possible solution for those with excess cattle is coming from Aboriginal traditional owners from across the territory.
We'd be able to fence areas of land to allow the pastoralists a land bank to go to, so to speak, where you could either adjust cattle or we could buy cattle off you at nominal prices to assist you with your management of your pastoral properties.
The Territory Government believes the trade suspension has highlighted the need to search for new cattle markets.
We do need to work hard to open up other opportunities in places like Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam, potentially a return back to Brunei.
Cattle have been waiting at this export yard near Adelaide River for the past 4 weeks. They will probably be the first to set sail to Indonesia. Nick Thorne runs the yard and says diversifying to other markets may be easier said than done.
That's always been a problem, that we've been heavily reliant on Indonesia. I don't know what the solution is to that. I mean, people keep saying we need to have other markets. It's not so easy just to develop another market.
We've looked at an awful lot of opportunities and none of those really stack up. Australia's got a very strong currency at the moment, which makes it hard for countries like Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam to compete, so they can't afford to purchase our cattle.
Big industry players believe Indonesia will be a major market for years to come.
Indonesia's got a growing population. They've got a declining herd at the moment. Their fertility in their breeding herd is extremely low. I think we've got an horizon of 20 to 25 years comfortably.
For Don White, the next 6 months is likely to be tough financially. He is in the middle of mustering his cattle, a muster which must continue despite the knowledge that at the moment there's nowhere for the animals to go. But Don White hopes in the long run this crisis has made the industry stronger.
The trade stopping it's given the industry a chance to sit back and look in and correct some of the problems that have arisen out of this, and I can only see that making the trade stronger and more sustainable in the long term.